Hello everybody, and welcome back to Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Fable, and today I will be playing Antler, formerly known as the Antlered King. Uh, and I'm actually pretty excited for this one because with me today is I don't have we played in games together yet or
No. No, we have
oh
not. This is our
oh
first one together.
this is fucking introduce
Yeah.
yourself, man.
Hi, I'm Hexabeast. Just Hex is fine. And today I am playing a certain shark, Shulky, who is not very thrilled to be here.
Shelky.
Shulky.
I certainly hope she's not a shellfish.
No.
Good. Shellfish Shelky. I
She's
sound
a
like
Shulky.
I sound like Sean Connery. It's a shellfish. I can't do a Sean Connery.
No,
No,
it's fine. It's fine.
I'm gonna insult the man, and I don't want to do that. Uh, anyways, this takes place probably like a day or two after your FPS with Vamp between
hmm
between your Shelky. Uh, no, but just
Kraken coined that term. Okay, it's stuck.
it's still making me laugh though, so I'm just gonna say your shark lady for now
Yeah, that's fine.
to
That's fine.
avoid me laughing constantly
No,
through
that's
this
fine.
because this is actually probably gonna be a bit more serious. But
Yeah.
this takes place after the FPS between Umi and and Lucille.
hmm
And Lucille, you are a how old is Lucille? I know that's not a
Uh,
polite thing to ask a lady, but
uh,
it's important for this.
that's a good question. Um, that's a good question that I don't have a solid answer for.
Well, then
It's in the triple digits.
cool. That's yeah. It's in the triple digits, which is enough to say that she's got a pretty long memory
hmm
of things, and there aren't many people around nowadays that have that long of a memory.
Yeah,
At least none that are no short lived races. At least,
yeah.
uh, and certainly not as many who remember the history of the Antlered King. That's a feat not many people can say they've got
Yeah,
anymore. But you,
yeah.
Lucille, very much do remember that time in history, and it was not a good time for many people.
No, no, it was not.
Yeah, and so the fact that you heard that a kid that you're attached to this child. What would you say is the relationship between Lucille and Umi?
Uh, so the best way that I could describe it is Lucille views Umi almost like a sibling. Uh, but when asked, Lucille can only really give the like Umi is mine and I care about them a lot answer.
Okay, but very much that familial bond.
Oh yeah, very familial.
Okay. Yeah, so hearing that Umi has been spending quite some time with the Antlered King in the home of the Antlered King, and not to mention got hurt while in the company of the Antlered King, does not.
Mhm.
Lot of red flags. Lot of red
A
flags.
lot of red flags does not bode well. Umi did specify that it was an orca that broke their leg,
Thank God.
but that was Lucille learned that before learning about Antler. But still, learning that that happened,
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yes. But so, Umi has more or less set up Lucille and Umi basically went like, okay, yeah, you would like to talk to Antler,
hmm
and
Yep.
as far as Antler knows, as far as Antler is concerned about this, I think he legit just had Umi go up to him one day. It was just like my friend's at the docks and wants to talk to you. Good luck. And I feel like that was it. That was all he got from the conversation before Umi went off to go play with Ruby. And he was just like, all right, I suppose I'm going to the docks today.
Oh, Vamp does specify that Umi mentions that Lucille does remember Antler. So
That Lucy. Okay, that I feel like that's something they tagged on at the very end, and and then just left Antler there to process that. He probably blue screened actually, and that's probably what gave Umi the chance to actually get away before he could ask for more details. And so, guess he's going down to the docks.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Lucille, where I can't lie. The dock the there are people who work at the docks. Little Corner is most of its trade does come in from
Hmm.
the ocean, from the by boat.
Yeah.
So I imagine a lot. There's probably some dock workers. I don't know where you're hanging out in respect to the docks, but there's probably someone who came up to you at one point was just like, "Hey, listen, you're a big scary shark lady, and I don't mean to be rude, but we've got a trading vessel coming in, and we need this dock cleared up, and we don't want you to get hit by the boat."
Lucille, very likely, trying very hard to be like calm and collected right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
this person, by the way, does look terrified. Like this is like a big burly dock worker guy, but he is still like very wary of you because he has known his fair share of ocean folk.
you know what? That's fair. And Lucille is very clearly not casual right now. There is
Yeah,
purpose for why she's here.
yeah,
So, uh, likely, uh, she would be in the water if allowed. But if the docks are needed to do trade and such, then she would in fact step on land because she can do that, and uh, would be hanging out as close to the water as she can get while still being out of the way.
yeah. Literally the dock workers aren't like they aren't asking you to get out of the water or anything. They're literally just asking you to like, hey, we've got like a smaller dock over there for like small tugboats
Oh yeah, okay.
that isn't being used right now. So like if you want to hang out over there and do whatever business you're here for.
Whatever it is that ocean creatures do when they decide to come out here.
Yeah, yeah,
That's fair. That's pretty fair. Lucille would definitely move over there to be out of the way then.
yeah. And since Umi came along, the dark workers are very used to just random people showing up from the water.
Hanging out. Yeah,
Yeah, they're just
it's
hanging
fine.
out. They're used to it. They're genuinely used to it by now.
Yeah.
And also, Little Corner is a fucking gossip town. Gossip spreads like the plague here, and I will say, Umi was seen with Lucille, so a lot of the dock workers also know that. Oh wait, this lady's a friend of Umi, so she's
Yep.
cool.
Yep. Scared a guard.
Oh
And
yeah, that guard's not going towards the docks anymore. He is taking a post way on the other side of town.
understandable. And if Lucille saw him again, they would apologize.
If you see him again, it's gonna be a while before he goes back to the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah. There will be an apology if she ever sees the guard again. But in the moment, it was a very heated moment.
No, no,
So,
no, and that's fair. But anyways, so Lucille, you're waiting at the small tugboat dock.
mhm.
I imagine, kind of watching as the dock workers and the trading vessels come and go.
Oh, absolutely.
The usual hustle and
And
bustle that happens on the docks.
yep,
And
probably grabs a fish and eats that while waiting.
yeah, yeah. You want to roll perception?
Sure. Oh,
That's a nat
Lucille, honey,
one.
that's a nat one.
Lucille, you
Damn.
must be very lost in thought to not notice him because he's but yes, he is very silent at walking, and maybe it's just he's that kind of tune that kind of just appears a lot of
Hmm.
times. He just appears. Uh, but you must be really lost in thought to not notice. Antler has started walking down the dock, and I think he he realizes halfway that you haven't noticed him. So, still plenty distance away from you, he kind of just clears his throat. Just,
That, I think, because she does. Fun fact, her active perception might be garbage. Her passive is 18.
oh my god.
Observant feat, baby. But so once he clears his throat, I imagine she instantly is aware of just, oh, he's here.
Yeah. And when you turn to look at him, what are you expecting to see?
Oh man.
Is
Honestly,
probably the
honest
skeleton with pitch black antlers, huh?
that like what, she's expecting what he looked like prior, likely, uh or the yeah, the skeleton with antler. Like she is not expecting this flesh and blood man standing there.
You're not
Uh
expecting a dude.
yeah, just a dude. I mean, more than a dude, but just
Like
it.
we're not for like the iconic the iconic cape and collar, and maybe just his overall way he stands. Uh uh this could just honestly be a dude.
Yeah, like honestly, very she's clearly had been prepared to say something, and now whatever she said was going to say kind of pauses because she is now very much just taking in his appearance.
Yeah, and Antler is just standing there very calmly and just, I would assume you are the friend that Umi spoke of.
I am, and I am will admit I wasn't expecting this.
No, I imagine not.
She has not gotten out of the water, by the way. She is still where she can maneuver the best.
Yeah, and he's not. Ear flicks maybe, but for the most part, very understandable that she's staying where she is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And again, one more once over, kind of in disbelief,
Yeah,
before just I had heard, well, hmm, you look a lot better than the last time I had seen glimpses of you.
mm, much is much has changed since that time.
How much has changed? And if you want to roll insight on that one real quick.
Yeah, yeah. And if you want to roll insight back,
Yep.
as
Oh,
a
damn.
as a 23 insight,
Damn.
a 6 insight.
Lucille, my sweet
Oh
darling. Okay, so Lucille is clearly there is a lot of like worry and underlying like, oh, he looks way different. What has he been doing? Like it's suspicion
no.
under all of that. There isn't a this isn't someone making small talk. This is someone trying to learn things.
Hmm. And I would
Um,
say with your bad insight, all you get is a slight ear flick and a glance to the side, but you don't, obviously you've never seen expression.
mhm.
This is your first time seeing him like this, and even before it was just glimpses of him from a
Yeah, I mean,
distance.
it was glimpses and hidden face mostly. So this is way new, and Lucille is kind of off her game a little bit.
She's not the only one.
Yeah.
You just don't, but she just doesn't see it because he's got the poker face of he's got the ultimate poker face.
He does. He does. He does.
Uh, quite frankly, I would not know where to begin.
That I would. Oh, 1 second, please,
Mm,
real quick.
mm. Oh, Hex is muted. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like it is just you and me right now. It. How are you all doing today? This is my ASMR British voice. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just. Woo, woo. But hello, and welcome. I hope you're having a good time listening. Oh man, oh man. This is. Oof.
Okay, I'm
Hey!
sorry. I'm back now. My husband brought food.
Oh, well, that's a good excuse as any.
Yeah. So I'm back now. Okay. Sorry about that. So Lucille, when Antler says, "I don't know where to begin," Lucille, almost kind of like surges out of the water a little bit and just, I could think of a few questions, such as, "How are you here?"
I assume you mean more, how am I alive?
Yes, I did promise Umi to be civil, so we're trying.
Well, I do appreciate that. I'm more, if you truly do remember the things I've done, then we both know civil is the last thing I quite deserve.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Hmm. Well, since your memory goes back that far, you would know the story of how I died, yes?
I quite remember that and the celebrations that followed.
Hmm. I imagine there were many. Well,
Oh, many, and they went on for a while.
hmm. He just nods. Not really surprised by that at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a yep, that makes sense. I was a terrible person. Uh,
Yeah.
and he. Well, the story was true. I did, in fact, die and spent a good 200 years in that cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
But now I am. Now I am back. I. And he's actually gonna look behind him real quick. He's gonna take a glance just to make sure that there isn't other people listening in.
That's
and
fair.
and as soon as he does that, you actually see some of the dock workers like immediately turn back to working on the distant docks,
Yeah, okay.
and you just hear like the hustle and bustle of work happening again. You just realize it had stopped. It had like the sound of workers working had lulled for a few seconds, but then it went back to work. Like, oh, he saw us. And before Antler sighs and turns back to you, flicks an ear one more time in the direction just to make sure. Then, well, I spent those 200 years in the cauldron until it decided to bring me back.
Would So here's a question. Would Lucille know of the cauldron, or is this a new thing?
Uh, I think Lucille would have heard about it, especially in relationship to how the Antlered King had died,
Okay.
because that was the story of the Antlered King was looking for this, this great magical object, but
Hmm.
that one that chase for power ended up being his downfall.
Yeah, yeah. I was just curious on if it would be the specifics or if it was more just that the object was his downfall and inferring, oh, that was what it was. So, okay. But okay.
I'd be willing to let you make a history check at advantage.
Okay. We'll do that. We'll see if the dice are nice to Lucille.
Yeah, yeah. If just because I don't know Lucille's like how well she would know myths on land.
Yeah, that's fair.
14.
14.
14. Okay, so you don't know where you don't know the origin story of the cauldron itself, but you do know that
Hmm.
it was basically a big big black iron cauldron that contained the souls of like 1,000 armies
Yeah.
or something to that degree, and it had the power to bring the dead back to life.
Okay.
That
So,
so
oh, go
yeah.
ahead. Okay. So Lucille would basically that sentence is not as what the hell are you talking about for
Yeah.
Lucille.
Yeah.
Uh Lucille in fact kind of just after all of that it decided to let you free, bring you back.
I would not say the word free. I did become a warlock for it for a time. Technically still am, but
That Lucille actually pops out of the water a bit more,
Antler hasn't
like
Antler hasn't moved away. Like he's any movement he's made is maybe just to give her room on the dock, but he has not made a move to actually step back from her.
that's yeah, understandable. Uh Lucille does pull herself out of the water a bit, still just kind of to get a better angle to she's scrutinizing him still with her one good eye and just I see.
You know, I think at that, because if you're trying to get further up to get a better look at him, I think what he's going to do is he's going to kneel down, so that way you're both
Oh.
at eye, he are both at eye level.
Oh ho ho. Uh you don't even need to roll anything for this, but he moves and her posture tenses until just oh he's kneeling. And then she pulls herself onto the dock fully and actually steps out of her tail so that she can, have legs for the moment.
All right.
But she's kneeling on the dock and now just very much scrutinizing him
Mm-hmm.
and
I, I don't think
oh
he
go
says. I don't think he says anything more. He just lets her do her
yeah.
thing.
She's hmm. Lucille, what are you doing? Let's see. Let's see. What are you gonna do? No, not that. Just a D. Just a that. Just a that. Okay. Okay, cool. Um, so we are not choosing the mean route.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
It wouldn't be mean. It would be just petty mean.
Okay.
Uh,
I could live with petty mean, but so what is she doing?
so instead of shoving him into the or picking him up and throwing him into the water like she wanted to do,
Ah,
uh, she stands back, stands up and back from him, crosses her arms and just so all and it, almost I don't want to say self-satisfied, but kind of kind of mean, just all of that quest for power and in the end you just became a slave to it.
uh, his ear twitches, and you just see a slight, the closest thing to like a wry grin on
Mm-hmm.
his face. Like, yep.
Sorry, I don't know why that made me laugh so hard. Uh, she starts to kind of pace around him.
Think he might stand. Actually, I don't
That's
know. No, yeah,
if he
he'll stand back up because I think his intent is to stay at eye level with her.
that's fair. I mean, that's not hard to do. He's still taller than Lucille.
Yeah.
She might be tall, but he's taller.
Yeah.
Uh, but she's pacing and still very, very tense. But so what are you doing now then? You now that
Currently,
all of your oh sorry, I was gonna now that all of your plans basically have now that you've succeeded in your goal, what now?
succeeded.
You got what you wanted, so to speak. It just backfired.
Mm. Currently, what I'm doing is being forced on a. I'm on a forced vacation.
That makes her stop, and she looks at Antler.
I am the mayor of this town at the moment, but Hmm, we've had unwelcomed visitors recently. The captain of the guard here has insisted that I take a break from work for a while, so currently I am not doing very much.
Lucille is staring at him like he has grown a second head. Umi has not mentioned any of that,
Mm-hmm.
just that he knows and is with the Antlered King.
I'm gonna roll an insight again.
Yep,
Just. Cool.
that's an 11.
I feel like that's enough to see that she's confused, so.
She is visibly confused.
Yeah,
Very visibly confused.
yeah.
Just
He's just gonna raise an eyebrow and be like, how much did Umi tell you?
and at that, she looks away and just says that they are here with their friend, and she gives Ruby's name sign as she says friend.
Ah,
Uh, and that you are. Would she? And that you are Ruby's, and then she signs the same thing Umi did, which was like boss dad.
What am I gonna roll? What am I gonna roll? You know what? The deception and performance both have the same modifier, so.
Oh boy.
As a 6. Ah, god damn it. You don't even need to roll insight. You see, his eyes go wide and his ears, perk up, and just visible, like, it just a visible of like Umi said that. Oh no, and he's very quick you see him struggle a moment as his ears kind of twitch up and down for a moment as he's like reining in the emotion from that.
Mhm. That's understandable. But Lucille like catches this, smirks, and just that that's all that they told me. And that you're here. And that I should not hurt you.
Hmm.
Which was based on that you have not harmed them yet, and it was all in the past, which is all fine and good. But I know from experience that, well, change doesn't come easy, especially for someone like you.
No. This him finally reining in. Back to poker face.
Yep, yep.
No, no change does not come easy, especially to people like me.
Which is now why we're here. And she gestured, like, just splays her arms out to, like, motion to all of the dock.
Hmm.
Because I don't want, for one, a repeat. I don't want history to repeat itself. Once was plenty. And for two, I don't want Umi to suffer anything that I did by trusting the wrong kind of people.
Antler nods, understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I am more than aware that there is no promise or guarantee that I can make that would ease your concern. And I would not expect you to believe anything I have to say, quite frankly. You have every right not to. But, against all odds, change in some way has come. I do not know where it is leading, but I. And I think he actually looks back on the. He actually looks back towards the town of Little Corner,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a look on his face. It's, how do I describe it? It's it's a mix of uncertainty
Mm-hmm.
and I do not think I do not wish to be the king I once was. That much I know. The rest I am still I am still very much in the process of finding out.
Lucille is once more just scrutinizing everything. That was an insight, which the dice are still being mean to me.
Yeah.
So Lucille is not able to read this man beyond what you have given me.
Yeah, I mean, as far as you know, everything he's saying is truthful.
Yeah. And that that is Lucille is frowning at him, and some of that hostility is like it's like she's trying to it's like it's trying to stay there, but at the same time uh it's she's realizing that oh he's being serious, but he's still like he hurt he still hurt a lot of people, and
Mm-hmm.
especially some that Lucille knew. And she's having a hard time wrangling that,
Mm.
even with his death.
It's my turn to roll insight. It's a dirty
That
20.
is a dirty 20.
I'm,
Oh my gosh.
am I getting all the good insight rolls? I think
You
he's able to gather all that then.
Oh yeah, he is able to gather all of that and uh even more of there's also an underlying bit of fear there. And it's that's like yeah, just you get all of that plus an underlying bit of fear. Lucille is still scared either of you or for somebody, but there is fear.
I know what I say does not change what I've done. And I know and well, mm, there are people here. There are people here who've taken it upon themselves to keep an eye on me, as it were.
Uh-huh. And what do they propose to do if you happen to step out of line? They don't that are they aware of what you're capable of what you've done entirely?
Yes, they are. Part of me
And
wishes they weren't, but
and you think they would actually be able to stop you if you did decide to fall back into some old habits.
Yes. Of this I of this I have no doubt.
She nods at that and still just I I just don't hmm. How do I want to word this? Hmm. How do I word this? Shit, how do I word this?
Words.
My brain just died on me.
Pat pat.
And Lucille kind of she nods at that. She that's okay. I that's her insight's been horrible, but Antler is being truthful, so no, I
Mm-hmm.
mean she would pick that up.
Yeah.
Uh she doesn't seem wholly convinced or satisfied, but like Antler believes it, so I mean that's that's worth something as little as it is from Antler. Uh but she she kind of just do you have okay, I don't know. Do you have plans to make any kind of amends to what you've done? I'm well aware that it happened a long time ago, but, well, it can never hurt.
There. I. It is a matter of knowing that nothing I do will ever erase all that death and pain I have caused. But I do not know the person I am becoming now, but I do think that there is one path I see that might be beneficial to others beyond myself. Have you heard that the prince will soon be crowned king?
I have.
Hmm. I've had the rare chance to meet him, and hmm,
She crosses her arms again, and
yeah,
now again suspicious.
yeah, and actually,
But
you actually see him chuckle a little bit, and I will, I will admit, when I did, when I did first come back from the dead, when the cauldron first spat me out, I did have every intention of starting back where I left off, but then, then this new time, this new Inkwell seems to have a habit of ruining my plans, including the Crown Prince. He is young, inexperienced, and childish to a degree, but very well might be the king that this Inkwell needs. More so than I. That said, Someone as young as that will need the experience of the past to advise him.
And you are going to try and step into that role.
I think so.
And after everything that
I
oh, go ahead.
I'm aware of how it looks. It's
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you are.
I mean, anyone with a passive intelligence of 10 could see. Take a position as advisor, poison the king's meal, and voila, you've stepped into the throne. All that, blah blah blah. I'm more than aware. And were
Oh,
this when I was and had this opportunity come by me when I had just been brought back, I would have done it.
and now you're more nuanced. Is that instead poisoning the meal, you come in, play friendly. You play, you know, you play shit, what's the word I'm looking for?
You
Uh
you know enough of my past that you should know that playing friendly is not what I do.
no, you don't. Instead, you threaten, and when they don't do that, you geas them into servitude.
I mean, yes, that is what I did. But what I did, I. Mm, if I am to make anything that counts as amends, I feel I am more useful there than. I'm not even sure what else. It is something
Living.
I know. It is something I know the works of, the what to do and not to do.
And I'm sure there are many others also. You couldn't just live a quiet life here as the mayor and then fade quietly into obscurity.
Roll insight.
All right. I am so sorry for my shark. She is very angry.
No, no, that's fine.
That's a 10.
10. You do see an expression cross his face, but you're. It's. Fading into obscurity is not a term that he likes to hear.
Understandable. Understandable. And Lucille can tell that maybe she's hit a slight nerve and is very like she doesn't smile, but her posture shifts in a way like, oh, didn't like that.
Perhaps you're right. Perhaps I should just let go and let the world forget the Antlered King. But there are there are still things to do, more work to be done. I do not have time to rest.
That
Yes, you're right. I could do right by this town. I know this. I know this. Anyone who asks will oddly end up saying that I have for reasons beyond me. The people here are far too kind. It is suffocating. But
that is something actually. Lucille is going to glance at the people in the town. Uh
once again, the people of the town have noticed that you see them once again very quickly go back to doing their own work.
yep. And but the thing is, they aren't. It's more of the, oh shit, we've been caught eavesdropping, quick, return to work, and not,
Yeah,
oh god, they saw us, quick, scatter.
yeah.
Like,
It is
and
not with fear of him.
yeah, and that's, she's glancing now at the people of the town and kind of catching that, and then glancing back at Antler. And her arms are still crossed, but she does just, seems like the people here have at least accepted you. And I've no doubt if you were to try and get in nice with the king, with the crown prince, it wouldn't just be me crawling out of the woodwork to come talk with you. And a lot of those people, I bet, would not be, would not have a promise of civility.
No, likely not.
And who knows? They might think that you've already poisoned the king. Maybe he needs taking care of too.
Oh, I am aware of that.
And yet you still think that you could help him more than anyone else.
I don't know. If you wish for me to say that I can help make things better, I don't. I do not believe that I am capable of good. I do not believe that I am any much different than I was before. If you're expecting me to say it, expecting me to genuinely believe that. And he actually raises a hand and wipes his face and actually has to. His antlers are gone, so he has to actually brush his hair back out of his face.
Mm-hmm.
I do not believe that I will ever be good. And yes, I fully expect that there will be people who will come out of the woodworks, as you say, to have me answer for the things I've done, and likely try to make others answer for it as well.
Hence, not hence, words. There are people that I care about that care about you. And if that happens, well, a quiet life, not just for yourself, but for others, is never a bad thing.
Speaking of the people you care about, I do not. If you came here to demand that I stop Umi from coming to my castle, I'm afraid that is something I can't guarantee. For the simple fact that for the simple fact that there is no controlling that child, as I imagine you well know.
Lucille is laughing. Just you can't stop Umi from doing anything.
No, I've learned that.
The
I've learned.
fact that you have managed to keep them here with a broken leg is, quite honestly, a feat.
Hmm, I had help.
She's Antler, Lucille seems to have relaxed a little bit. There's still a lot of hostility, but it's the arms are still crossed, but the posture is more relaxed.
Antler hasn't quite relaxed yet. Ha-
That's understandable.
Not for the reason you think. Yes, it was tense from before, but now it's a different sort of tense.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Speaking of Umi, I must ask: Have they? Have they? Oh, I do not know a nicer way to put this. Have they always been like that? And he actually like waves a hand in front of his face and makes like just the blankest ocean child stare.
Mm-hmm. Lucille, to her credit, does not take any offense. Uh, but they do kind of sigh a bit, and uh, Umi is of the sea, like I am.
Yes,
Have they ever explained what that means?
to some degree, but I think I would like. I think I would care for your explanation as well.
The We aren't just of the sea. It is part of us too. And when you exist in something that vast and that ancient, and it surrounds you for your whole life, the line between what you are and what it is can fade and blur and vanish altogether if you're not careful. And Lucille is very much roll insight for me, Antler.
All right, all right. Oh, it's
That's
a
a nine.
nine.
Okay.
Like
So,
he has something else he wants to say to, from what
yeah.
she's just said. But you go ahead.
Uh and she kind of that arms crossed motion kind of like tenses a bit. Just it can take a lot to find yourself from all of that.
And I don't think Umi has been very careful about that line.
No. No, they have not. They when you're young and surrounded like that, it's even easier. I would know.
As would I.
It's right now, loath I am to admit, they are among friends, that those that they consider friends, and that is the best way to help get them. That is the best way to teach them how to be themselves.
And he nods.
You can't keep us from the ocean. That's
I
just,
I
well,
have
impossible.
I know.
But
I I have no intention of doing that. I do understand what the ocean means to Umi to at least some degree. Perhaps not fully, but enough to know I could never keep them from it. But
Lucille just, it takes time and then even more time as they will have to learn a lot of things in the world. And I, I, I had said it earlier. I don't want them to fall into the same, I don't want the same things that happened to me. to happen to them. It's easy to trust someone who shows kindness in any way, only for down the line them to turn on you.
I do not disagree. And hmm, he looks to be debating with himself for a moment, his ears twitching up and down as he's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I. I see a child that is numb to the world, far too willing to accept, far too willing to accept the ugly things within it. That, frankly, at their age, they should still be taking time to process, but
Lucille is nodding along, just kind of sadly as he speaks.
and I do not I do not share this lightly, but I only share it because you are a friend of Umi's. And I do wish for there to be some understanding. I I have been in that place. Being the child that was made too numb to the world. And became something that could have very well ended up destroying it. All of it. And while I do not think Umi would do the same, it
Luce, oh, go ahead.
no no child, for whatever reason, should be numb.
Lucille gives Antler a very, like, they are looking at him very much differently than they had been this whole time.
There
Uh
there are a few moments as he has been talking that you see him. Antler is very much a tune that looks you in the eye when he tells you
mhm.
something. He's a
Mhm.
very straight up and straightforward
Yeah.
character, and while it's true, you wouldn't know if he was lying or not, because arguably he could very well lie to you, but
Mhm.
you could. I'm gonna give it to you. As he's been talking, his ears have tilted downward, and there was more than a few times where he where he would start to look away, but then maybe it was pride, maybe it was just the simple fact that he is straightforward, but this is the most honest with you that he has been in this conversation.
Okay. And
Most open.
that, yeah, yeah, yeah. Lucille is very much regarding him kind with a different, like, there's understanding in the way that she's looking at him right now, just uh and very quietly she just kind of, yeah, that's that's what I've been trying to help them with for a long time now.
Has it worked?
I mean, they have a friend. Apparently, they have a couple friends.
Hmm. So they do.
I don't know how far you'll be able to pull Umi from the sea. And she doesn't mean that in a physical sense. She means that like in the metaphorical sense.
Mm. Yeah.
But this was probably the first time I've ever seen an expression from them, even if it was disapproving.
And Antler actually, you actually see his eyebrows go up at that when he looks at you.
Mm-hmm. Lucille is actually kind of smiling a little. Just first thing, and it's to tell me not to hurt you, and he's frowning at me. Or they're frowning at me.
And mm, I think he's just taking a second to really take that in.
Mm-hmm.
To hear that Umi made an actual, like, physical expression on his
Yeah.
behalf.
Yeah.
And I think he actually looks away a moment, just thinking maybe it's the look on someone's face when they're like looking back and trying to like find a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
Lucille, do you want to roll insight again? But
Sure.
on advantage.
Let's see. Am I in the right? Yeah, I'm in the
I'll give
right.
you advantage. That's a
That's a
19.
19.
That's a 19. You don't need advantage.
No, I don't.
So Lucille, this guy has just said a lot of stuff
Mm-hmm.
and been open about a few things. With he's just met you,
Yep.
and probably the only reason he has been this open at all is because of who it's.
4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
were it for someone that he barely knew, this conversation would have been very short.
Mm-hmm.
But you look on his face as he is trying to think back on he's trying to think back of what he did for Umi before. And from the conversation, Lucille, this tune, there is nothing you can say about the Antlered King that he does not know.
Yep.
He is more than aware of what he has done and what he is. More than aware that he does not and likely will never deserve any of it. And yet, you tell him that Umi that Umi not only made a face, but also made a face while asking you not to hurt him, and he is. It boggles him
Mm-hmm.
to be given kindness where he knows it's not deserved.
Lucille, kind of just, I don't know if they know what to say for that. But they just kind of, they kind of like their arms uncross and they, they just kind of regard Antler with, like, they regard Antler with almost, I don't want to, with some kind of, with almost like a bit of sympathy. Because now they're kind of, with that, like with what he's told Lucille and a bit of what she's kind of gleaned just from this conversation and such,
Mm-hmm.
she's getting a picture, and it's it's a very sad one. that she's now realizing a lot of people weren't privy to.
Yeah.
And
And again, you're only privy to it because
yeah,
it's for Umi.
it's for Umi, and that's just oof. She after a moment she kind of shifts to one side and just says, Umi doesn't say things lightly. They if if they've ever told you anything, you can take it to heart.
Hmm. They've told me that I overthink things.
She snorts at that.
And Antler has a slightly wry grin. And I imagine they're right.
They are very observant.
Hmm, that they are. Well, either way, it will still be some time before their leg has fully healed. I imagine you will be keeping close tabs.
Well, I mean, I suppose I could stay for a little bit, even just to make sure they don't try to dive into the water.
Hmm, that would be much appreciated.
Bring them back if they do.
Hmm. Perhaps keep them from scratching at their cast. They are they are very good at not doing what they're told, even when it's for their benefit.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Well, if you go farther, if you go inland towards the river, there's a path that leads up into the castle.
I don't know if I'll be going up there.
No,
Pretty sure I'm
I
still. Oh, go ahead.
no, you.
I think I would rather stay here, but if if you need to ever find me for whatever reason, I'll be down here. But if you really need to call me, you can just drop a little bit of blood in the water and I'll smell it.
Hmm, I will keep that in mind. One more thing. This is.
Mm.
I feel we have been avoiding this whole time. I do appreciate the civility, but I'm more than aware you've been wanting to throw me into the water for a while now. And he just holds,
Lucille.
and he, without a word, he just holds up a hand to you.
Lucille gives him a very wry smile. What?
I will be very disappointed if I only go a few feet.
She, the look, the look she gives him is like, for a moment, it's completely baffled, but then, she, like, man, how,
What do you want to roll?
would it be? I think it would be strength.
I think it would, but you know what? Add your athletics. Add your athletics
Okay.
modifier to it, cause I wanna see how good you throw him.
Okay, let's see how far we eat Antler. 14.
14. That's not bad. You know what? Hey, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Do it at advantage.
Oh my god. Lucille really wanted to eat him.
Yeah, that's a 25. Oh my god, describe to me, please.
Okay. So Lucille, after a moment, she's like she is staring at this hand, and then at Antler, there is a lot of suspicion there
Yeah.
because this could still be a trick. So she hesitantly like moves closer to be in arm's range, and then he says, "I will be disappointed." And she takes that as a challenge, and instead of taking the hand, just the hand, she grabs the hand and like by the waist
Whoop.
and then just overhead yeets him like into the ocean.
Yeah, yeah. You just hear him give like one small and then.
And Antler, you hear a second splash because Lucille has now dived in after you.
Yeah,
And
Antler's kind of just like floating there, motionless for a few seconds as he's processing being in the. Because that's 25. You threw him far.
yeah,
You threw him very far, but
there,
it takes a few moments before he is able to like kind of shake his head out of it quickly, head up to the surface so he can breathe. Because oh yeah, wait, not a skeleton. I have to actually breathe.
yep.
And
There's a shark fin circling you right now.
you know what?
Hmm.
He laughs.
Oh,
Um, he's just well, that was.
Lucille's head pops out of the water and she is staring at him. I almost want to say as with a similar kind of expression as Umi, but it's that curiosity that like yes, Lucille is old.
Mm-hmm.
Lucille is very old, but she only looks she only looks to be like late teens, early 20s, and she very much looks that right now. And she is staring at Antler with that same kind of curiosity of like someone who's still learning about things.
Antler kind of just flicks an ear and tilts his head a little bit. And then he looks over her back towards the docks that is now a fair distance away, and he looks at his clothes that are not made for swimming. He's just, oh, this is going to, it's going to. Well, I imagine you'll find amusement watching me trying to flail my way back to shore. He says as he, I don't know what to roll.
It would actually be athletics.
It would be athletic. Oh, good. Athletics. The thing that doesn't have a modifier. As a 10. Not bad. Not good.
He does exactly average, and actually, as Lucille is watching him kind of like struggle,
Yeah.
he gets probably about halfway before Lucille finally takes some pity and just comes up next to him and like I don't want to say offers a hand, but basically just here, grab on, don't move your hand the wrong way, I will cut you. 'Cause shark.
Right. Are Are you sure? You do not have to.
You're in my domain right now. You try anything, I beat you with an anchor.
Fair enough. And he will. Wait, is he taking her hand? Is he what's
No,
he?
fin. Dorsal
Yeah,
fin.
yeah. He'll put a hand on her fin and just yeah. He's
Yep.
he's
She's
not
gonna
try
just tug
anything.
him back to the. Yep. She's got a good swim speed, so he's back. He's back at he's back at the docks. It's fine.
Yeah, he's sitting on the docks right now, just. I think he actually ends up taking off the cloak,
Mhm.
the cape with the
Mhm.
fur, and just like scrunches it up to squeeze the water out while prestidigitating the rest of himself
Mhm.
dry.
Lucille probably kind of tossed him onto the docks.
Yeah, that's God. You just hear just a splat.
Mm-hmm.
A wet splat on the ducks. He probably looks like a waterlogged cat, honestly.
And Lucille is grinning at that, just very proud of herself. She got to do what she wanted to. Well, not what she really wanted to do, but she got to do what she wanted to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And as like she kind of comes down from, oh yeah, I just got to yeet the Antlered King.
Yeah.
Then she kind of has that, I yeeted the Antlered King.
Yeah.
The Antlered King.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of starts to giggle a little hysterically. Because the Antlered King let me do that.
Were we back in? If this were 200 years earlier, they'd be singing songs about you.
Lucille kind of giggles and it just, they've got a couple about me already, I know.
He actually looks interested. Oh, really?
Not songs, but stories. You, I'm sure you've, I'm sure you've heard why you shouldn't try to take a mermaid out of the water. Which, roll history for that one.
I mean, do I have to? That I feel like it goes without saying. I'll roll history, but
It does, but like,
history that's a +9, so
yep,
19.
yep. So yeah, Antler, you know the whole like don't try to pull a mermaid out of the water, like get cursed, all of that.
Yep.
You seem to recall though that story kind of popped up. It was a lot more recent when you were younger, and was instead of being just a story, was actually a recount of what someone had gone through. Uh, where they had pulled a mermaid from the water to try and keep it. And they did successfully keep it for a fair bit until that mermaid broke free and that house no longer stood. So,
Yeah. Here's a question.
yep.
When you say young antler, how young? Are we
Hmm.
talking young antlered king, or are we talking about a young Ansel?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say,
Because I was gonna say Ansel is from his original hometown was a fishing village. So
I was to say,
stories of
I was gonna say a young Ansel.
all right, yeah, because stories of there was no shortage of mermaid stories and the cautionary tales as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lucille, you watch Antler. Think about that for a moment, and then he blinks, and then hmm, it has been quite some time since I heard that story.
Lucille kind of chuckles. Yeah, it so it was a fun one.
Oh, I can imagine.
Felt real good.
Hmm. Well, I imagine there will be more to talk about, but
And she nods.
perhaps for now, best to leave it here for the day.
And again, she nods. And then pulls herself out of the water next to Antler and extends a hand.
Roll insight.
Yep. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Dirty 20. Uh, you see a bit of uncertainty there. Not out of suspicion or even distrust. It is more of it's more of fighting back of a habit.
Mm-hmm.
More deal. Because anyone who has followed the story of Antler so far he doesn't handshakes are not easy for him
Yep.
for just multitude of bad experiences with handshakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you see him like struggle for a few minutes before he slowly, very slowly, I cannot stress this enough, but he does. If she waits, if she's patient, he will eventually reach out and take her hand.
Yep. She is patient. Because this is important to Lucille. And I'm not even going to make you roll because you can tell that she is also equally putting a lot of trust in what she is doing right now and what she is uh, about to say, which, based on everything that just happened, she just grip. She doesn't shake so much as just kind of grip the hand, very gently squeeze, and then let go. And she lets it drop back down and then just quietly says, I'm against all of my instincts telling me. I'm trusting that I am trusting Umi, who trusts you. So I trust you when you say you are trying. And I
I, I in turn will, I will, I will trust that you will be there if I am not.
that I can promise.
Good. If
She
for,
nods
if for no one else, then for Umi.
and she nods and just, yeah, I can do that. And then slowly slides back into the water.
And Antler will slowly stand up with his damp cloak under one
Mhm.
arm. And I,
You, oh, go ahead.
no, no, you go ahead.
Say, Lucille is going to watch him go, and that's, yeah.
Yeah, he stands, looks at her, gives her a final nod before walking off. And it is as he turns to walk away that once again the hustle and bustle of dock workers working suddenly starts up again.
Yep. And again, there's going to be a lot of stories now about how Antler got yeeted into the ocean.
Oh yeah, I think there were already bets being made while they were talking. So there's Lucille. You definitely see some dock workers passing around some coin.
Lucille is just kind of laughing a little at that, and she shakes her head and then just kind of dives back under.
Yep, and Antler goes back to Ruindal, and I think before he goes to change out of the ocean-soaked clothes, listen, prestidigitation only does so much, and
It does.
he still smells ocean and smells the ocean in his hair, but he will he'll stop by wherever Umi is and won't say anything, but he'll give them a pat on the head, and then go to take a shower or bath. And I think that is where we will end it today.
Yeah, I think so.
That was
Thank you for listening, everybody.
thank y'all for listening. That was really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Well, anyways, see y'all next time. And until then, bye.
Bye.